I may not be able to share my video with you because presently I'm on transit, but I'll share my screen to show you what I have for you. Thank you so much for having me here today. I appreciate. So the topic is building. So excuse me, please let me quickly share my. I'm on transit, so I'm actually using my phone, but probably I will send it to Mr. Please check your WhatsApp. I'm sending my documents to you. You can just help me to share it in order to not waste our time. I'm having issue sharing it on my phone here. I'm going to send it to you now. Send it to share it so that we can move on. So I've just sent the slide to you now, sir. Please help me to share it. So good afternoon, my noble colleagues. Thank you so much for being part of this program. My name is Folashade Adegeye, as you have said. And I'm also known as Shade. I want to talk about classroom management. How do we manage our classroom? And what are the culture that we must have as teachers to be able to have an effective classroom management and also be able to have effective teaching and learning activities. So let's start. I love being a teacher. I love an interactive class. So I want to ask you, what do you understand by classroom management? What do you understand by classroom management? I want you to type your response in the comment section. What do you understand by classroom management? Because what you are doing now is also part of classroom management, carrying everybody along, not being a dominant teacher. So what do you understand by classroom management? I'm waiting for the first 3 responses before we move on. What do we understand by classroom management? I'm waiting for the host of Fifemi to share my slide, while I also wait for the participants.
Okay, go first.
Please just look at mic and I'm still expecting responses. I believe we have teachers on this platform. How do you manage your classroom? We're all taught classroom management when we're in the school. So what do you understand by classroom management? Let's make it as interactive as possible. Are we saying we cannot define what classroom management is, or actually expressing responses from people? We want to learn how to build, not learning, but want to remind ourselves, refresh our memory on building a strong and effective classroom culture and practice. And this, in summary, is just classroom management. So what do we understand by that? Any response?
Yes, people are sharing response on the chat box, ma. People are sharing response on the chat box.
Okay. Okay, classroom management are things done to ensure a conducive environment for the teaching and learning process, e.g., classrooms, etc. That's a good one from Mr. Sunday. And we also have the share. Teachers should be able to control the class for effective learning. That is from Zainab and that. Thank you. And from George, this is the way teacher manage the class and organization in an organized manner, whereby knowledge flows smoothly without any distraction. Okay? It's simply the process of ensuring there are no disruption in the classroom while delivering content. Classroom management entails keeping the class calm for learning to take place. Okay, good one. Thank you. That's a very good one from everyone. I appreciate that. So As we said, the topic is
You are voting. Yeah, come on.
building a strong and effective classroom culture and practice. That's the topic for today's lecture. And what is our objective for today's lecture? The objective is that by the end of this session, we want to give you information to provide practical strengths, practical strategies and insights for creating a positive and engaging classroom culture that supports students' learning and development. So that is our objective for this section. Next slide, please. And that's our objective. I've just read it. And what are the concepts of classroom culture? When we say classroom culture, it has to do with the shared values, beliefs, and norms and behaviors that shape the learning environment. You know, everything we are talking about is learning to take place. Whatever skill you acquire as a teacher, whatever knowledge you have, no matter the number of certificates you have, if you enter into a class and learning does not take place, then all those skills you have not been put into good use. The result of every teacher's activities is that the learning must take place, and not just ordinary learning, but effective learning. And why do this happen? So we have to create a culture, what they call classroom culture. And what we mean by classroom culture is that those shared values, the beliefs and norms that shape the learning environment. It influences students' engagement, it motivates and motivation and academic achievement. A strong classroom culture creates a safe and inclusive space where students feel valued and supported. There's a way to create our classroom culture that every child, from the most brilliant to the lowest performing student in that class, will what will be carried along. We feel included. We feel among. We feel valued and appreciated. Every little effort of every child in your class will be appreciated, such that such a child will not feel like an outcast or someone that has been left behind. And that is what we want to talk about today. Please let's start. Next slide, please. Sorry, if I were at home, I'll be able to use the thing. Okay, so what are the elements of a strong classroom culture? What are those things that we need to put together? What we mean by elements? Like if you want to prepare your jollof rice, you need ingredients. You have your recipe. What are those things you need to be able to prepare a jollof rice, a good dish of jollof rice? What are those things you need? And likewise, as teachers,
Hello, ma. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, ma. Guess that should be our network. Are you still on the call? Let's give us some minutes. I guess that should be the network. I guess our network kicked her out. Maybe she's going to join us in earnest. Kindly give us some minutes while she joins back. She'll be joining us very shortly. Kindly give us a few minutes.
sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
I don't know if that was from me. I just thought that I was full house. So what are those things that
Okay.
we need to create a very strong classroom culture? As I was saying, in this part of the world, we believe that those that deserve respect are those that are older than us. Because that was what we were taught when we were young. They will tell you respect your parents are those that are older than you. We even forget that those children have their own kind of respect that they expect from us. And that is why today teachers find it difficult to apologize to students even when they are on the wrong. You just feel like, why would I apologize to my students, even when you know you are wrong, that you have wronged that child? Or there are some things that we shouldn't have said to a student or a pupil. But just because we think we are the alpha and omega, and that's the way we're brought up, that's the kind of orientation we received when we're growing. The teacher is like a small god. So they are the alpha and omega of the class, and they have the liberty to do whatever they want to do without being queried. And because of that, we see them as a demigod that has to be respected, and they don't even have to give any respect in return. There seems to be a mutual understanding. It has fostered an atmosphere of respect among students and between students and teachers. We are going to go fully into that. So open communication is another thing. With no dialogue, some teachers are such that students cannot even approach them. They are not approachable. When we talk about classroom management, and that's why probably they change it from just classroom management to classroom culture, because it goes beyond just telling people not to make noise or to pick papers on the floor and all that. There are many things that are put together when you talk of strong classroom culture. So communication, we should have listening here as teachers. We should be able to have meaningful conversation. We don't see them as our subjects. We see them as those that we are nurturing, the souls that we are nurturing, that we are grooming, and they also have faith in whatever they are going to learn in the class. Also, trust. As teachers, we must be able to establish trust. All this we're going to talk about. How do we establish trust? What are those things you shouldn't do? You want your students to trust you and be able to confide in you and be able to believe whatever comes out of your mouth as a teacher. Then collaboration. One of the greatest things in the education presently is collaboration. You collaborate as teacher with other teachers within your facility. Can I please get muted, please? We collaborate with people within your vicinity to work together to come up with something, a program for your students. I don't know what other speakers might have said, but I want you to know this. If you are a teacher and you don't have a project, if you are a teacher and you don't have something you are working on, then you're just the teacher. You are not yet a 21st teacher. You are still a teacher that is in 19th century, but teaching in 21st century. Using 19th century or 20th century skill to teach in the 21st century. As a teacher, you must have something that you'll be identified with, and this will be known by your students. And one of those things is collaboration among students. You promote teamwork and cooperation among students, and you have unique projects that your students are working on that will make them to want to work together. Then we share purpose, create a sense of shared goals and purpose in your classroom. All this we are going to explain in detail. Next slide, please. So I do now create a positive learning environment. What are those things we need to do in order to create a positive learning environment? The first one, someone has said it in the comment section earlier, establish a clear expectation and rules. Even we said it that where there are no rules, there are no laws, there are no offense. So if you don't have a clear rule, you don't have a clear, well-established expectation, then anything can pass, anything can go in your classroom. classroom. A student might decide to come to school today and chose not to come tomorrow. A student might decide to sleep in the class while you were teaching. A student might decide that it's when you are teaching that he's feeling hungry and he wants to eat. So obviously there must be an expectation. You must decide, you must set your clear expectation for your student, and there must be rules that must be followed, not rules that will just be established for the purpose of it. If you go to many classes, they have it pasted on their walls, the classroom rules and regulations. But how many of those rules are we following? Even you as a teacher, you said in your rule that there's no late coming, but you as a teacher that rule, you're coming late to the class. You said in your rule that there's no side talk. As a teacher that wrote such a rule, because you have something to discuss with your colleagues, you left your duty post, you left the work you're supposed to be doing. It was not yet break time, and because you think that thing is more important, you left it at that moment to discuss with your colleagues, and you set through for students. So if you want to set a rule, it has to be a rule that both you and the students have to comply with. You need to set expectation at the end of every class work. What are you expecting from the students? What are those things you want them to be able to do? You set behavioral expectations, rules that promote a positive and respectful classroom environment. What should be the relationship between the opposite genders in your classroom? What are the things they should not do? Some classrooms, a teacher will be in classroom and children use abusive words and some derogatory words, and there are no rules to this, and there are no firm way of establishing those rules. Then the things will continue to pass. Teacher reinforces the expectations consistently today, and then you excuse him. If you excuse one person, then you should be ready to excuse 3, 4 more. If your rules is that children are only allowed to use the convenience during the short break and the long break, I'm talking about the primary section now, even the secondary. If that is your rule, the moment you start allowing some of them to go before or after that period, then you should know that that rule is not going to stay. But if they know that this is true, everybody will know that I have to drink not too much water because I won't be able to go out from the short break. And after short break, I will not be able to use the toilet again until long break. And before you know it, might think it's difficult, but before you know it, if you are consistent about this rules, they will adapt and they get used to it. Promote a sense of belonging and inclusivity. This is where many of our teachers are guilty. Many of us are guilty of this. Some of us eyes for only those students that are doing well in our class. We just want to celebrate those that are doing well. We forget that we have to celebrate and value diversity in the classroom. A child that is not good in math might be good in English. A child that's not good in English and mathematics might have, if our best subject is quantitative, some might be fictional skills. They might not be able to speak well. They might not be able to solve mathematical problems. But give them, you need artwork in your class, you need to do your chat and all that. These students are available. Why not celebrate them as well? Give them sense of belonging. Don't let them, can we please get muted? I'm using, I told you I'm on transit, I'm using it. So the noise is really coming directly into my head. Sorry, please, can we have people get muted, please? So, as teachers, you have to operate an inclusive classroom setting where every child is important, irrespective of the child's background. Some teachers have eyes for children whose parents have been so nice to them. If a parent is not nice to you or is even rude to you, it shouldn't be the fault of that child. It's the parent that deserves that needs to be punished for that. And if you don't have a way of punishing the parent, just let it go. You don't bring out your grievance. You don't bring out your annoyance on an innocent child. Every child, irrespective of the kind of home they come from, their background, their religious beliefs. Someone said they can't hear me. Can everyone hear me, or is it only that person? Let me know before I
We
move
can
on.
hear you.
Can
We can hear
others
you, ma'am.
hear me so that we know that it's okay?
Yes,
Probably it's the
we
person's
can hear you.
network. Okay.
That should be the network. We can hear you.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let's move on. So we should celebrate diversity. Don't see a child as a never do well child. Don't see a child, don't condemn a child, don't condemn them. You don't know anything. I don't think you can know anything. You better go and learn work. That shouldn't be a statement. Even if they are going to acquire skills, it is encouraged that a child should be advised. But it shouldn't be in such a way that the child will feel less of him or herself. So we should celebrate diversity in our classroom. Create opportunity for students to share their experience and perspective. Yes, you don't do know all. 21st century teaching has gone the alpha teacher, the teacher that claims to know everything. No, these children have been exposed to many things that we were not exposed to when we were growing. Many of them have access to the internet. Some of them have even traveled to where we have never been in our life. Some of them have uncles and brothers that have shared one experience or the other with them. So let them talk. Listen to them, listen to their opinion, let them contribute to the class. If a bad classroom is a such that only the teacher does the talk. When you have a classroom and you are the talk, when I said this class, I asked you your opinion. What do you think about classroom management? I did not come with the intention that these people don't know classroom management. They asked me to come and teach them. I'm not here to teach. We are only here to exchange ideas. Many of what I'm saying here, many of you have had much more of them. Many of you even know more than, probably know more than what I'm going to talk about today. And that is how you should see those students too. Their brain is not tabular rasa. It's not like something that it's not empty. They have something. They might not know how to construct it. They might not know how to put it down. The way they will put it down might be different from yours. But the fact remains that they have something to offer. And this is what they put it down. We must foster a sense of belonging and make all students feel included and valued. So I said that earlier, students must be feel included and valued. You should not just think one child is more important than simply because that one sits more in class. What I do in my class, I give every child equal opportunity. Even if you are the most brilliant, if I want to call students to answer questions, if I feel you've answered today and others have not, I may not call you. Even the least intelligent person in that class will be allowed to talk before you can talk. And that is how it should be. Next slide, please. The next thing is we are still on creating a positive learning environment. And the next thing is fostering positive teacher-student relationships. Now, I want to pause here. Please go to your comment section and give me, apart from what I've written here, what are the other ways you think we can foster student-teacher relationships? What are those two ways we can do that? So, I know I've written from here, but I want to hear from you. As I said, knowledge is not, nobody has the monopoly. Some people might even know better than I do. I also want to learn, so let's do this together. Still waiting for your responses. I believe you are typing. So I'm waiting for your responses. While you respond, let me explain what I have here, but that does not stop what. Okay, I have someone here. Said giving out incentives when anyone gets an answer correctly. Okay, that's a good one. Someone says smile. Okay. Okay. That's another one. Being friendly to your pupils, yes. Giving room for students to participate and giving positive reinforcement. That's a good one too. Thank you. Okay. Yes, you celebrate such pupils, such students. Yes, celebrate them. Yes. So you're all correct. And in addition to what I'm saying, I'm going to say here, please we can add those things to including games and making the classroom. Yes. Give a high five, including games. Yes. Take environmental sighting. Yes. Okay, this is good, but it might be expensive for some people, and but there are some areas you can take them that will not even cost us anything. But that may also include some protocols, especially those of us in public school. You can't just take students out. Be involved in whatever task you give them to make them feel you are partner. Correct. So now let's see. You build positive relationship with students based on trust. That is the first thing you must establish as a teacher. Make your students trust you. And how do you do that? Don't make promises that you cannot fulfill. I want the person want to solve this mathematics. Anybody that solves it has a gift. And at the end of the day, when they solve it, you take clap for it. Clap is not a gift. There's a difference between you have a gift and at the end of the day, you are clapping. Whatever you cannot offer, whatever you know you won't be able to give, don't promise it. Also, when a student confides in you, try as much as possible to adhere to the whatever agreement you have with such a child. You said a child should tell you what's wrong with him or her, that you are not going to discuss it with anyone, except in the case of child abuse, that I think the authority needs to know and take action on it. But your child tells you something, and the next day in the class, when you want to give instance, when you want to make illustration, is the child
Apologies, everyone. I think we lost our facilitator right here. Please let's be calm as she will return anytime soon. Thank you. Before our arrival, I believe we are taking note of all these important points. I want to believe that we are jotting and you are doing well. It's very, very likewise. For those of us that we still have our phone's name as our account name, please let's do it to rename our account to our name properly. Please name your account to your name properly. And towards the end of this evening section, we are going to drop the attendance link in the chat box. So please be ready to check for the attendance link towards the end of this evening section. And for those of us that we are complaining about the font of the slide, you can just adjust it from your hand over there. Just try to zoom your screen. Use your finger to zoom your screen. It will enlarge automatically. It's that you use two fingers to zoom. So you can do that from your hand. Thank you. Okay, I think I can see a question in the chat box. Is it necessary for someone who filled the attendance survey in the morning to fill for afternoon? Yes, please, is very, very important. It's very, very important. Please do well to fill both. And in the afternoon section, we have updated a particular column where you have to upload your picture. Please do well to upload a standard picture, I mean a corporate picture, basically your headshot, so that we can actually capture your face properly. Maximum of 5 MB. So you can please do it to check for the picture you want to use properly. Please, your corporate picture, we are professionals, so we have to behave as such. So not just an ordinary selfie or any random picture. Please, let's do well to have a corporate picture when we want to upload. Please don't ask for the attendance link for now. It will be sent at the appropriate time and everybody will be notified. It will be notified. Everybody will be notified. We'll drop it in the chat box. So please, let's shift our mind away from
Please,
attendance
can you
for now.
hear me
Let's
now?
get
I'm very sorry. I don't know what's wrong
yes,
with my
I can
network,
hear you.
but I'm home now, so I hope it should be better. I was actually on transit earlier. So thank you. I'm sorry.
It's very much.
So let's move on. Okay.
You're welcome.
So let's move on. I was talking on. So I will rush through because I can see that my time is almost up. So let me rush through in order not to prevent the other lecture. So we'll talk about number one, trust. You should establish trust with the students that you're teaching. You don't make yourself in a situation where the student will not be able to trust you. Don't do such things that will make students feel disappointed and find it difficult to trust you. So you should establish trust. That's number one. Also, you should have empathy for your students. What I mean by empathy, you should consider the situation of each of your students. You need to get involved in their lives and understand what they are going through. You don't give the same judgment. Please, I'm still on the previous this thing. You don't give the same judgments to every student. For instance, especially, let me give you instance of those that are working in a public school. Some of those children live with guidance, like their house help and all that. They have to do some chores before they leave home to come to school. And why some are living with their parents, and you want to give the same judgment to them just because the other one comes in late. You need to understand the situation of your student. A child that is not doing well in class, you need to understand why that child is not doing well. You don't just conclude that the child is not doing it because it's Olodo. No. You need to understand the factors that determine, that contribute to the child's lack of performance. Whatever they are doing. And you should be care. You should show care. You should show that you care. Be genuine. Show genuine interest in life. Be concerned about their aspiration and challenges. Provide personalized attention and support to individual child. Don't take some children as your favorites simply because their parents are nice to you or because they dress well. You know, we are individual teachers and we have some teachers are naturally attracted to students that are very neat. If you are neat, your socks are neat, your uniforms are always ironed. Some teachers just like such students and they don't want to care what is in the head of that dirty child. You don't even know why the child is dirty. I'm just coming from a seminar. I just got in from a seminar. As I was coming, I was actually coming from Lagos Island. And one of the things we discussed is parental factor. We want to compare the life of a child who only sees
his or her parents on weekend, whose parents leave home 5 a.m. or even 4 a.m. to come back 12 a.m. So the child whose parents wakes up on the bed, dresses him, prepares his or her food, and brings to school. These children, they are different individual and different entity, and we need to understand this if we really want to create a positive learning environment. It cannot pass the same judgment on all of them. So the next thing is encouraging students to collaborate and teamwork. So we encourage, in the olden days, even these days, some classes still practices, when you give students work to do, and the two of them that are sitting beside each other are trying to work together, we will say, cheating, they are copying. You even call that child copycat. That term is no longer useful in this modern day teaching. And that's why when you are arranging your class, you arrange your class such that the two students you don't sit most brilliant students together. If this student is brilliant, the next person that is sitting beside him may be less brilliant and may be able to rely on the other. The only thing you teach them to work together, not just to copy verbatimly. They should carry each other along. If this one is good in mathematics, when you're having mathematics class, let him or her carry that child beside them that is not as good as they are along. Give them tasks that will inform that all of them should work together, either as a group or as a pair. Teach students effective communication, problem solving, and teamwork skill. Create a supportive environment where students learn from and support each other. When we were in school, we see that as cheating, but it's no longer cheating. That is what they call collaborative efforts. Let them work together. Let the weak carry let the strong carry the weak along. We don't just say, do your individual. Nobody does individual work again, except during the exam. But when you are doing classwork, allow them to work together. Let them learn from one another. Next slide, sir. Next slide, please. And lastly, on the, well, probably your network, I can see the screen here. Please check your network. On positive learning, creating positive learning, incorporating student voice and choice in learning. Involve students in decision-making and provide choice in their learning. Incorporate students' interest and passion into lesson and projects. Empower students to take ownership of their own learning. I said it earlier, don't be an alpha teacher. An alpha teacher is a know-all teacher. And now we have discovered that nobody is even an island. Even those are teachers then that claim to know it all do not even know anything. They don't know it all. They know something, but they don't know it all. Even a professor is defined as someone who knows a lot about just an aspect. He knows a lot about just a little. So you don't assume you know everything. Carry these students along. When you have a lesson plan, seek for their opinion, seek for their advice on how to carry out things. And they will give you a lot of opinions that will surprise you. And if you implement them, you even discover that your learning will be more effective. There are these times when we're in school that they told us, what I see, I know. What I do, what I hear, I know. What I see, I remember, or something. What I hear, I forget. What I see, I know, and what I do, I remember. Here's something, many of the things I'm saying here today, in the next 1 hour, if they ask many of us, we might not be able to remember. But what you see with your own eyes, you may also remember it. You can know it's okay, I know this exists, but what you do, you will never forget. So when you carry these students along and you involve them in learning, practical approach, they will not forget whatever they have learned. And that is effective learning has taken place. Next slide. Next slide, please, Mr. Ayuda. Okay, now, effective classroom management strategy. I've said this earlier, we're just explaining more on this. Establishing routine and procedures Establish consistent routines and procedures to create a student learning environment. Teach and practice this routine with students to ensure clarity and efficiency. I said that you shouldn't be the kind of teacher that will say, do what I say, don't do what I do. You tell your students not to eat during lesson, but immediately you write work on the board, you carry out your bowl of rice and you are eating in their presence. You're not teaching you're not practicing what you're teaching. You tell your student don't chew gum in the class, and this is a teacher in front of the class chewing gum. You tell your students no side talk. Your friend just came from our own class or his own class to discuss something with you, and you cannot excuse that person that, okay, we'll talk later during break. You established the discussion and the discussion was going on, not minding that the students are waiting and that you are actually wasting a particular time for the student to learn. So when we establish rule, let's be a partaker of that rule. Let the rule also apply to us as teachers. And let's establish that we know we work for our classrooms. Implementing consistent and fair discipline practice. Focus on teaching, approach appropriate behavior rather than punishment. Implement fair and consistent discipline practice such as restorative justice and conflict resolution techniques. What do I mean by this? Just when I went to, one of the blame some people put on government is that the ban of use of cane in school. And I came up with, can that person please mute their mic, please? And I came up, I told them something. You said the students are spoiled because they banned the use of cane. And I asked them, when did this policy of banning the use of cane came up? It's not even up to 3 years. If I'm not wrong, I don't think it's up to 3 or 4 years that the policy was implemented. And we have thousands of teenagers and early adults out there being on colos and becoming hooligans, louds, fighting. Some are even killing, engaging in rituals and all that, Yahoo and all that. And those not the student that we train with cane. If cane was that effective, why do we have such miscreants out there? It is not about the cane, it is about mindset. If it is about behavioral modification, it is about establishing some rule. Let students know the reason why they don't have to do this, why this is not good. The modern day students that we are teaching now, they want explanation. They don't like being rules being imposed on them without giving them tangible reason why they must follow such rules. So instead of discipline, instead of punishment, why don't we teach appropriate behavior? Why don't we establish in them behavioral modifications such that there won't even be any need for punishment? So these are things we need to know. So if the use of corporal punishment, the use of cane was effective, then why do we still have those students? Because I'm sure many of those students are not the students that are just taught these last 3 or 4 years. They are the students that are being taught during the era of corporal punishment. Before we can complain whether the use of cane that has been banned is effective or not, or is bad, it should be in the next maybe 10 years when the students that we are teaching now without using cane comes out of primary and secondary school, then we see how they behave, then we can conclude that banning corporal punishment has done more harm than good. So let's teach behavioral, let's teach them discipline rather than thinking of punishment. Thank you. Sorry, what is going on? Okay, please, next slide, please. I'm sorry, this is supposed to be carrying one another along, but I see that my class is supposed to end by 6 o'clock. So I won't eat into other people's time. So using positive reinforcement and reward. recognize and reward positive behavior and achievements, provide specific and meaningful praise to reinforce desired behavior, incentives, just like someone mentioned earlier, and reward that align with student interest and motivation. Yes. Reward might not even be in terms of material thing. Good commendation, recognition. We can even design a kind of certificate of honor for them in the classroom. Let's appreciate them. You don't praise them only when they answer 2 + 2 is 4. You don't praise them only when they get the best mark or best score in mathematics or English or any other subject. What about a child that saw someone's pencil or pen on the floor and brings it to your table? Such a child should be celebrated so that others will learn from him or her. A child that helps someone to keep their things so that they don't get lost and return it should be celebrated. You don't celebrate academics alone. In this part of the world, we only celebrate academics. A child that scores the first. I'm looking for a school end of session party where they will celebrate the most well-behaved, the most accommodating, someone that the most caring student, not first, second, third position, overall best. So all these things are what contributes to their behavior. So we should reinforce positive, we should use positive reinforcement and reward, not just in the academics, but also to motivate and build in good character in our students. We address conflict and behavior issue promptly and effectively. So here, when we want to address issues, we don't leave it for later, and we should be fair in everything that we do. You don't punish someone for coming in late and excuse the other person without genuine reason that should be known to others. If you have to excuse someone for coming late and you have to punish the other person, you have to explain the reason why you are doing that. And you have to, address conflict and behavior issue in a timely and constructive manner. Listen attentively to students' concern and perspective. Teach problem-solving skill and work toward resolution that benefit all parties involved. I will leave the soft copy with the organizers of this program. If they have your email, they may want to share it with you, but I will leave it with them. They can take decision on how they want to share it anyway. So please, we should also understand this. When we are going to punish or we are going to resolve conflict, let's do it timely and let's do it appropriately. Next slide. So cultivating a growth mindset, yes. Cultivating a growth mindset in students is essential. It's very essential. Sorry, the slide is gone. What do we mean by this? You don't allow your students to settle for less. You need to let them know that they have the ability, the capability to go beyond what they think they are. And what do we mean by this? That is what some of you that follow me on social media, you see that there was a time I did this positive affirmation that my students recite every day. I have like 3 types of them that I recite for them every morning before we start anything. And apart from reciting it, we put it into practice. Even the lowest, the less active student in class is made to believe that he has what it takes to go beyond where he is. Let the students see themselves as someone that can do better, not just limit their, somebody gave an analysis of what students are like. It says some of them are like automobile, like aeroplane, and some of them are like wheelbarrow. It said the aeroplane, the plane, immediately the pilot enters, he can put it in autopilot. All he needs to do is just to do some settings here and there, and the plane begins to fly. it requires less effort from the pilot. Place for years. If you don't move it, you don't move. But the moment you put it and move it moves. So we should understand those students that are like airplane and those that are like wheelbarrow in our class. And those that are like wheelbarrow need our support more. We should not hesitate to move them. Please, I can't find my slide anymore, please. So we should not hesitate to move them. We should be able to move them, let them move. Encourage them to move.
I can see them. She's sharing her slide.
Students to move. So that is what we mean by cultivating growth mindset. Is it from my side, Mr. Yoda? I don't seem to be seeing the slide.
Yes, I'm sharing. Can you see it now?
Just sharing, okay. Not yet.
Okay.
So we encourage these students, we give them all that it takes. Insights, you can make references, you can write some affirmations for them to recite, and not just reciting it, put it into practice. When a student fail, maybe fail a test or classwork, instead of you condemning that student, let him or her see the reason why he fails and explain to him or her, if he does this, he can get better. If we apply all these approaches, I'm telling you, apply it, try it, this almost gone, try it from next section and see how effective and efficient your teaching and learning activities in classroom will be. Because when a child is praised and encouraged, he doesn't want to disappoint you again. So you want to put all this effort to please you so that you end that same praise again. So inculcates in them that sense of positive. Okay, I can see it now. So let them cultivate that growth mindset. And how do you do that? You know, you have to establish resilience, perseverance, and love for learning in them. Encourage students to embrace challenges, view mistakes as opportunity for growth, and believe in their own potentials. Don't just condemn anybody who makes mistakes. And I want to remember something. As teachers, we were taught in school, even a child that is not that doing well in your class, it's not a fault of his own alone. There's what we call the nature and nurture factor. I would say almost I don't know how to put that. In the nutshell, it means that the leaf doesn't fall far away from the tree. A fruit does not fall far away from the tree. It is what the tree produces that we find inside the fruit. Some children, based on genetic, they inherit this, but we can still help them. The fact that they inherit this slow learning ability from their parents does not mean they cannot do well. If we add the nature, the nurture, that is where nurturing comes in. Find they are coming into that nature of low learners, but we are able to nurture them and come to terms with their own ability and see them for whom they are. They might not be able to measure up to the most brilliant, but they is average or above average a bit. And this we need, let them believe in themselves, let them see the potentials in them, and let's encourage them to move. Provide constructive feedback and focus on efforts, progress, and improvement and value process of learning. If a child has been scoring 0 in your class, one day finally score 1, don't say, he scored 1 today. The fact that he has scored 1 means there is a step ahead. He has moved from level 0 to at least 0.1, and that should be celebrated so that the child, but if you say, well, thank God, you even score 1 today, 0 you've been scoring before now. The child will be demoted, he will feel dejected and may not even move beyond that 1 again. So let's take that as teacher. That is one of the classroom culture that we must practice. Next slide, please. Can we move to the next slide?
Yes, I'm there. I'm there. Can you see the screen?
I'm still on growth. Okay, now it's there. So promoting active student engagement, incorporating interactive teaching method and instructional strategy. Use varieties of teaching method to cater to diverse learning style. Incorporate hands-on activities, group discussion, and real-world applications to engage student activities in the learning. We have moved from the abstract teaching and learning system to concrete. Gone are the days where teachers will tell us, hey, you know, pyramid is kinikon shape. You can bring pyramid to classroom without bringing pyramid to classroom. Yes, I know you cannot travel to Egypt to bring pyramids. You can create one. You can even ask the students to create one themselves. Let there be active learning. Let them be involved. Use different, enough of paper and biro teaching. You might not even need much notes to give to these students. Let them be practical. Show them real things. Thank God for the advent of technology. I believe every teacher has a smartphone. The least we can do with our smartphone is to Google pictures. If you cannot print them out, at least go around to the rows in your class to show it to the students. Tell them to go home and create something like that. You can even give them a group word in class. Let the class be interactive enough and be exciting. Let them feel it. Let them have hands on those things they want to do. Encourage them to participate in active and great environments that encourage students to participate actively in discussion, ask questions, share their ideas, provide opportunities for student-led debates, a culture of curiosity and inquiry. Some teachers say, students want to ask questions, I say, shut up, don't disturb my class. That is not a good culture in the classroom. Some students ask questions, I say, you are still asking questions. What is difficult? So he don't understand it means he doesn't understand it. Even if it is 2 + 2 = 4, and the student said, how did you get 4? That question that sounds stupid or foolish to you might be very, very important in the life of that student. So we should be aware of that and do not turn them down. Let them participate, let them talk, let them share their view. There's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. All answers are correct, but they might not be put in the way you want it. Then you your own.
Now, just a few minutes, ma, to round up, ma. You can round up now.
Yes.
Thank you, ma.
You told me I was starting 5, but you didn't give me the platform until 15 minutes past 5. So I didn't get the presentation.
Hello, ma.
Hello.
Yes. Can you see my screen? Can you see the screen?
No, it's the same thing that I've just finished talking about.
All right, you should see it now.
Okay, it's coming up now. Okay, utilizing technology and multimedia. Yes, this one is a known fact. Any teacher that is still not using technology in this modern day is a 19th century teacher. So there's not much information on this. Leverage on the use of platform. We have a lot of tools to create learning activities. You can create worksheets, you can create videos for your students. There are lots of them. We cannot excel them. This is a topic on its own. So differentiate instruction to meet, okay, no problem. Differentiate instruction to meet diverse students. That is what things going to do. Don't make sure even the assessment and all that should not be questions when you are preparing your notes. Have those that are learners in mind. Don't set too hard questions and should not be too cheap as well. When you are writing your note, don't use too I expect it to be too difficult to understand by the slowest student in. Next slide, please. So encourage collaboration with students and work as a team, promote empathy and respect among them. I said that earlier, be kind to them, respect their individuality. You don't know what each child is going through. Even that child of a multimillionaire in your class that you think the parents are rich might be going through some emotional trauma. It might be such a child who cannot even get the attention of his or her parents at home. They are always in Dubai or Canada or Kano. So, and when it comes to school, it sees you as a mother figure, God wants to rely on you. Please make yourself available for such a child. Don't just, there are some pitiable children, some poor children that would think they are doing well. Yes, they might have everything materially, but emotionally they might be lacking. All these children should be considered. That's why you have to study your individual students. And then make sure you prevent bullying in your class, prevent disrespectful behaviors, no matter where it's coming from. The moment authority, you have to tolerate it from us. So if you're exposed to your no, even if you have a change of a team, yes. Next slide. Leadership opportunity, yes, leadership opportunity. This group and make somebody a leader. The person that is a leader this week should not be a leader next week. Let all of them explain what it means to lead. Give them responsibility and roles to play. Engage families. There are some school teachers cannot engage families directly. If you think a parent needs to be carried along to know about their students, their children's performance in school, or there's need for them to have area where they have to also work to support the efforts of the school. You have to report to the school management, let them know this extra support from home, and then the parents will be invited. You also be called for such meeting, and such will be discussed. So the student activities, progress, and other ways should be known to the parents. Then the parents comes to complain and say he has not been. So I'm waiting for the next slide. So if you had reported earlier, they would have proper solution. Numbers. So it is essential to create positive and supportive environments where students let them have clear expectation. Number two, foster a sense of belonging. Give them established positive relationship. Next slide, please. Cultivate growth mindset. Use diverse teaching strategies. Promote active learning. Next slide. I've explained all this. I'm just giving them the summary here. Provide constructive feedback. The feedback you are giving is not the one that will damage the the image. If a child fails, let the child understand why he failed, and so show him or her the opportunity to improve and get better. Celebrate success. Success here is not just the person that scored 10 in the class. A child has been scoring 0. If he managed to score 1, celebrate him or her so that he can get better. Encourage students' voice, allow them to talk. Don't see them as they don't know anything. They have knowledge that you don't even know they have. Allow them to talk. Next slide. I think next slide. Yes, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Having me, I hope I've been able to, brush your knowledge is what we have known. I think I'll be able to refresh your memory about, having, cultivating a classroom culture that is effective for learning, building a good classroom culture. Thank you so much for having me. I still remain yours sincerely, Folashade Adegeye, known as Chashade. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that wonderful.
Wow.
Hello? Yeah, you can continue. You can go ahead. Or is your network stable now? Okay. So thank you so much, Ma, for that wonderful presentation. And I'm sure that many of us have learned quite a number of things here this evening, and then we have learned new things. This is the essence of having this. Thank you so very much for honoring our invitation. We do not take this for granted. Thank you so much. Thank you. I want us to give a resounding applause to our speaker while we have received just one question. If anyone has a question, just one, then we'll move straight to the next speaker. Okay, but then, Rebecca, you can go ahead. Very simple and concise. Thank you. Just a question, please. Hello. I'm seeing a hand up. I don't know if you want to ask question. And in the absence of no question, I guess I'm not seeing any question on the chat. I guess we'll be allowing our speaker to take our leave now. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We sincerely thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. We'll be moving straight to the next on the. Kindly give me some minutes to share my screen so that I can invite our second speaker. Can you give me a few minutes?
Please, just a minute before we invite our second speaker, before Mrs. Shade take a leave. I think there is a question in the chat. How can the learners with language barrier? I think this person is trying to ask on how we can actually teach people who have language barrier. If I get the question right, maybe they can quickly explain that within the next one.
Okay, I saw the question was, I don't understand what you mean by language barrier here. It say those that have language deficiency or those that don't speak your language, because issues here. We have people that have language deficiency, people maybe they have difficulty in speaking, or those that do not. What can we do?
No, no, no. The way they are saying.
Okay, so what we mean by language barrier here, probably a student like I would bring from another part of the country to where they don't speak their own language. Yes, those students, they will start, definitely the school manager should not allow such students in the class where learning has really gone far. Students should start from the scratch, and the language of communication in that school should be imparted, should be taught to the students gradually. If possible, you can advise the parents of such students to, employ extra class for them, at least to deal with the language barrier, because there's nothing you want to teach if there's a language barrier. You can't use just what do we call signs, except the child has defects. That is issues, specific medical language problem. But if it has to do with communication difference in our language, then the child has to be taught the language of communication in that school. To be part of instruction. Those are teaching secondary school, public school now, you are allowed to use the language of environment. So if the environment where you teach, the child can understand that language, not just, and is having problem understanding English, you are allowed to explain. There are times I explain English language, just Yoruba. It has to get to that stage because we want to carry everybody along. And I want to explain some concepts of English language, I will use Yoruba to explain, so that the child, the lowest in that class, will understand and be able to apply it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so very much, Ma. We sincerely appreciate your time with us. Thank you so much. I hope when next we invite you, you are going to accept and acknowledge our invitation. Thank you so much. Now we'll be moving straight to our second speaker, who is already here in our midst. And I'm sure that you're also going to learn from this session as well. In person of Mr. Alaku Ayiwulu, I'm going to read his profile while we allow him speak. All right, Mr. Alaku Ayiwulu is a BSc, MSc Edu in Physics Education at the University of Jos. He is a Fulbright TE alumni and the 2022 Martina Teacher of the Year. He is an advocate for STEM education, girl-child education, volunteers for PAWA Initiative, Power Initiative, and a physics and basic science teacher in Federal Government College, Jos. On this note, I want us to give a resounding applause to our speaker, Mr. Alaku Ayiwulu, on the chat box while we invite him to speak. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. You have the floor now. You have the floor now, sir. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for that honoring our guest speaker. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Sir. Yeah, yes, I can hear you perfectly.
All right, great. So it's I'm glad to be here, happy to be here. Happy to be able to render the small render this little service here and share my small little fountain of knowledge with the rest of the group. And I appreciate everyone that's here. I think I saw so many people I saw in the morning here, and I want to appreciate you for your time, your resilience, and your patience. It shows that we're all ready to learn, we're ready to grow, we're ready to develop as teachers, as professional teachers. And I believe that these sessions will help us to grow in our profession and to be better individuals and better educators. So, Mr. Ahmed, so how do we do? Do I send you the slide or do you give me the permission to share.
You can share, sir. You can share, sir. Let me allow you to share. You can share your screen, sir.
All right. Just 1 minute.
All right.
Recording in progress.
So I'll try my best to be very, very brief. Because a lot of things I saw on from the previous presentation. I just have little packets of them in my own presentation. So, sorry. So I don't know. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. We can see now.
Yes, we can.
All right. Sorry, I'm using Microsoft Live. Okay, our topic for this evening is how you can position yourself for high visibility and significance in the teaching profession. Well, oftentimes as teachers, we are charged with, we dedicate our time and our majority of our time shaping the lives and minds and behavior of students. Looking for how we can bring out the best out of them, and this can be very great responsibility. It is very stressful, strenuous, and brain draining sometimes. Yes. Also, that aside, we also need to focus on ourselves, prioritize our own professional growth and development. Because if you just sit back and relax, and you realize that time flies by very, very quickly. Sorry. I think I'll send these slides to you. I don't know if you're online. Sorry. See what I'm saying.
Okay. You can send to Mr. Olalikon. You can send to him, sir.
Okay.
I'll just share from here.
Okay,
Share
he's
with
the
you
one
now.
I've been chatting, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry.
No problem.
So,
No
like I
problem.
said, oftentimes we just sit back and we'll end up realizing that students are graduating and we are just there. We are not moving forward. We are not moving backward. Standstill, which I think is bad for good professional growth. We are not supposed to be in one place. We are not supposed to be stagnant. We are supposed to be able to share, grow, and develop ourselves constantly. Okay, so yeah, I just sent it now. It's sending. Okay, I just sent it now to. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, I
I'll
don't
be
know.
sharing
I just
shortly.
sent it now.
All right, sir. All right, sir.
Have you received it?
I'll be sharing in a moment. You can proceed. You can proceed.
All right, I'll be very brief.
Yeah, can you give me some minutes? I'm trying to convert the document.
Okay, you want to share it as PDF or PPT?
Yes, as PDF. But yes, I will soon share now.
Yes, I think it's preferable as PowerPoint. Let me see.
Please, as we are trying to share this, mute yourself. Try to mute your mic and avoid distraction. Distraction. And endeavor to wait to the end of this section as we will drop the attendance link towards. Thank you.
No man.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think can we see? Let's just manage it.
Yes, I want to share now. You can stop sharing so that I can share. You can stop sharing. I'm sharing. You can stop sharing. You can stop sharing. I will share it now. Okay, great.
All right.
Yes, I'm sharing right now. Okay. Hello, sir. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I think it was like 3.
Okay.
Okay, it's a PDF now. We'll start it.
Yes.
Okay. I want to assume everybody. Screen.
You can proceed, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, like I was saying earlier on, oftentimes we just sit back and see that students graduate and we are still the same. We are still the same. Okay, we are still the same. So it's only right that we should reflect and look at ourselves and try our best and see how we can make ourselves grow and develop us to become better individuals. So next slide. Next slide, please. So how do we position ourselves for high visibility and significance in the teaching profession? So in a nutshell, how do we get to be seen? How do we get to be out there? How do we get to put our work out into the public for people to see, people to be able to understand and learn that this is what we're up to, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going about it, and how we can share our experiences. So first of all, we need to look at ourselves as a brand. Next, please. We need to look at ourselves as a brand. And basically, a brand is like a product. And when you have a product you want to sell, first of all, how do you sell the product? How do you make the product known? You advertise, you put it out there, you advertise, you get various vendors, various people to talk about your brand, show your brand, and you want to ensure that your brand is authentic, original, and very easy and user friendly. Right, so think of the service you offer, teaching, as As think yourself a teacher, you're a brand. So what service do you offer? How can you put yourself out there? How can you be known by others who are out there who are looking for help, who are looking for guidance, who are looking for coaching, mentoring, and so on, who are looking for people of your caliber or your status to uplift or upskill themselves. Next slide, please. So, first of all, as I was talking about the brand, we need to know how to leverage social media first by creating a positive online presence. Be it you have a private professional website, be it you're constantly present in Twitter, Telegram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and these other platforms. You leverage them so that you can put yourself out there, you put your work out there, such that people can be able to see and reach out to you. You sell your product, as you sell your brand, you advertise your brand out there through this medium. Because today we are dealing with students in the digital age where we deal with digital natives and migrants. Native are the ones born into the IT world, born with the new digital tech. And those born in the 80s, that is the digital migrants. We are the ones that have to migrate into the digital age to be able to utilize these tools for our teaching, for our daily use, and so on. So how I know oftentimes people say, I'm not into social media and stuff like that. Yes, myself, so I wasn't into social media, especially Facebook. So my account was done that for a long time. But I have beginning to see the importance of leveraging this technology, leveraging the social media apps to be able to put myself out there. When you put yourself out there, you get contacts. People come and look for you for opinions. Come and look for you for your expertise, your skills, what you can offer, and you can find other people where you can learn and grow and develop. So it's very wonderful if you can leverage these skills, leverage these tools to suit the current needs of the current kind of students that we have. In the US, they say they run away from Instagram and go to Facebook because their students are on Instagram. In our case here, I know that we run from Facebook to Instagram because a lot of our students have uh, have taken over Facebook, so it has become like a marketplace now. But still, you can leverage it to sell and to engage the audience which you have. You need to be able to engage them, offer services, workshop. You can use your page to collaborate with others. You can use it to monitor your online presence. You can use it to seek professional development opportunities. You can just do so many things. So far as you have the genuine passion for teaching and you reflect consistency in your posts, authenticity in your work, and you have genuine passion for the work. Next slide, please. Okay, yeah, I mentioned this, how you need to be sharing your work as an educator, what you do, awards you receive, teaching experiences, resources, and insights to allow you gain visibility and attract the kind of like minds you want and people who are interested in what you're doing. So they are attracted to your content and they look for how you can leverage this opportunity so that you can create finances for yourself. Also, when you are dealing with international bodies, the important thing about leveraging your social media is when you start working with international bodies, they ask for your social media handles, which means they want to see what you've been doing, they want to see your journey so far. Okay, someone is saying you cannot see the new slide. Please, can you indicate if you cannot see the slide? You're still seeing the old one. Please kindly indicate if you cannot see the slide we are working with currently so that we can do something about it. Okay. All right. Where was I? Okay, international bodies want to see, they usually ask for a social media handle. So they will end up seeing whether we use our social media to post memes, post anti-party kind of messages. That's why it's very dangerous to, put yourself in that position where you keep on posting and posting things about. Because today you might be there, tomorrow you might not be there, so it becomes something like a jokes on you kind of situation. So they want to see what you post, they want to see what you do, what you're engaging in, what your practices are, and so on. So next slide, please. So we need to really leverage this social media apps, the social media web space to be able to sell ourselves as teachers. It might seem like, yeah, it's something, it's mediocrity or mediocre, but believe me, it goes a long way if you want to move your status from the local level to the national level to the international level. If you want to showcase what you're about, what you do, what you've been doing. So I think that's the best. That's the ground. That's the best base for you to be able to sell yourself for free. Next, you have to be an advocate for the teaching profession. You're like, okay, how does this help me get visibility and significance? Significance in the sense that when you advocate for what you do, it means you like what you do. You talk about the importance of the teaching, importance of education, role of teachers in society. It is very necessary to keep on advocating and talking about what you do. Yeah, sometimes you talk about movies, yeah, because you like it. You talk about music, yeah, because you like it. You talk about social events and stuff because they are a reflection of things you do and what you like to see. So, teaching as a professional teacher, your actions, your behaviors, your posts should also reflect that. You should advocate daily for. All right, next slide, please. I hope I'm not too fast. Also, oftentimes, teachers, there are some teachers, I'm not saying everybody, there are teachers out there who suffer from low self. They are not proud of their work. They can't wait to jump ship. That is, you're using education, you're using this work as a placeholder to get a bigger, higher paying job. A lot of us have been there. And maybe because of the low pay and the work has low prestige to some extent. Not until regularly, which is promoted in different areas. So, and oftentimes, this brings about what we call, oftentimes, some teachers suffer from what we call imposter syndrome. It's like a psychological pattern in which individuals doubt their accomplishments, without their skills, without your talents. You have a persistent fear for being exposed as a fraud or an imposter. Those kind of images where you see yourself, when you look into when you see a lion looking at the mirror and he sees a cat, or when you see a cat looking at the mirror, he sees a lion, that means that person has high self-worth, has high self-confidence. Well, sometimes when you look at yourself in the mirror, you look at yourself as if we are fraud, as if you are not what they say you are, you are not who you think you are. So it happens even with students. And it is very key that we be able to identify this in students because it really kills some people's skills and talents and they don't get to grow to be what they're supposed to be. So people who suffer with imposter syndrome end up having so much fear. They underestimate themselves, they think less of themselves. You carry fear, you carry failure, and just consistently compare yourself unfavorably with others. That's key word. Comparing yourself unfavorably. To me, comparison is the bane of success. The bane. That is, you want to kill yourself, you want to kill your success, you want to kill your esteem. Start comparing yourself with others. So I think in terms of maybe competition, it might be healthy to a bit, but if you compare yourself with others, honestly, it's not right. And also, you shouldn't compare students with other students because everybody's unique and different and grows at its own pace, grows at its own level, right? In academic work, in personal relationships. So why am I talking about imposter syndrome here? I'm talking about it because this can hinder us from showcasing ourselves, showcasing our skills, showcasing our talent, showcasing what we do, and putting ourselves out there to be able to try out new things. To try out new things, to take risks. So he end up putting up inside a box. He ends up putting us inside a box, like a cage. So you end up being that kind of person that this guy, he has talent, he's very talented, he had potential, he had this and that, but it wasn't utilized because you're suffering from imposter syndrome. You feel like you are a fraud. You feel like inside you're really. So I think we should try and shake this off. Because a lot of people suffer from it, and it hinders us. It hinders our progress. So I feel I should chip this in a bit. So next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, sir. It seems that talking is a bit poor. Well, someone is asking, how do you shake off this syndrome? Well, you just need to work on building your confidence and work on building your own confidence and believing in yourself, and also not comparing yourself with others. And because we're still in the previous slide, sir. You moved twice. Okay, yes. So still on being an advocate for our teaching. Like I said, if you have imposter syndrome and fear, you will not be an advocate for the teaching profession, and you will not be heard by others. You will not hear what you have to say because you are hidden. So, like I said, having low self-worth, because people think that this work gives me low pay. This work, we graduated with so person. This person is working here, has this car, has this, has that. Comparing yourself unfavorably. This is really bad for one's esteem. And you may not earn as much as a teacher, but it doesn't mean that you're not shaping life. You're shaping lives. You are growing people. You're coaching students. You're guiding them towards paths to be better, so that they can make better decisions than ourselves. We're just there to guide them to fill the gap in certain aspects of their life because we've been through what they've done. Someone with low self-worth, you are really valuable. The society just doesn't see it. So it means you also need to carry yourself out, put yourself out there to be able to do more and to be able to exceed your own boundaries. So putting that aside, you can still advocate for your profession, for the teaching profession. Join communities, discuss policy making initiatives, share your opinions, insights, blogs and articles and so on. Because when I go to LinkedIn these days, I see a lot of teachers, young teachers, hoppers, who post their experience, their first day in class, first day teaching, first day or graduating, or you see them with the students in which they teach with. I know 5-6 years from now, they can, make references to those images and be like, oh yeah, I was here. So it helps us see your journey when you start teaching or when you are in this profession. It helps you tell the story about yourself. When you advocate for yourself, when you post the things that you do, it's always there on social media so other people can see and learn from them. All right, next slide. Okay, here is building relationships. How can building relationship increase my visibility? Networking is the key word here. Networking is very, very critical and very key. You will just be online, you meet people who want to hear your expertise on this and that. So they will invite you into programs, invite you to come and talk, invite you it could be your students who has graduated and like, sir, we will be honored to have you at social events maybe. So having that online presence. So most of these things I'm talking about is still there is still in the backdrop. There are still children under this topic of being online, having a strong online presence, selling yourself out there, advocating for the teaching profession. So people know what you do. People know your profession. We are all teachers and we should be proud of us. Either, no matter the conditions. So, build relationship. Networking is crucial. How do we network? We can't sit down in our classroom, in our schools. Sometimes one day you just sit down and realize that okay, your social circle is just surrounded by people in your office, people in your school place, and maybe people in your neighborhood. How about people that you have lost contact with? How about people that are not in your niche, on your cycle, in your daily routine? How about people who might bring something different to the table? So it brings us to to building relationship with people who can actually sell you and put you on the pedestal so that you can be able to scale up into other areas of the field. Networking is key, that's the word. So we need to be able to attend conferences, not just local ones, not just like internal ones we have in our schools. We can have local ones. We can have those organized by the states, those organized by private organizations, those organized online. There are a lot of programs like this one online where you can network and meet a lot of people. So I think I had not, let me not lie, I had not heard of Emerald Education Concepts and Services before until I was approached. And how was I approached? Online. So perhaps I sold myself at some point and to have someone who knew somebody connected somebody and said, hey, we know this guy, who is this guy, and this is this. We are here. So putting yourself out there can be able to open doors to new opportunities and so on. You can join professional organizations so that when you meet, you can meet people like Goldistan, Man, and so on. You can connect with other educators in your field and so on. I know oftentimes there are a lot of teachers who don't know other teachers from other schools. So just want to teach and go. You don't know teachers who are in Facebook groups, Telegram groups, and stuff like that, where you share information, we share information, share what is new, share teaching methodologies, share opportunities. So apply for grants, apply for competitions, and so on. So you get really exposure into interacting with others, and you build personal and you build good relationship with people, and you sustain this relationship over time. And also, there's what we call professional learning community. I think we have, or we should have, stuff like this in our school, where a group of educators come together to engage in, continuous learning and improvement to enhance their professional practice, right? In PLC, we collaborate with, let's say, your unit now. You collaborate with people in your unit, share ideas, you share resources, you share best practices to improve students' learning outcome. You can have such communities within your network and outside. We can form one right here in this group and start discussing our challenges and how we tackle it. But most times, it's peculiar to your environment. Let's say, for example, let me say there's one student that is giving me headache, right? In my class particularly. So I will have to approach other teachers and say, hey, how do you handle this issue? They will come together. So, okay, let's all handle this issue the same way and see how this person responds. So that if you do the same thing when you're in class in the morning, when I come do the same thing in the afternoon, I do the same approach in terms of discipline. The person will realize that, okay, there are eyes on me now, so I need to step up. So not that we just sit down and assume and take law into our hands sometimes, and we might not be operating within the schools and regulations. So the collaboration is the key word here. We collaborate and we operate as a team, as a network of teachers who are out who are out for students' growth, student development, and also teachers collaborative skills. It shows that we work as a team. We don't sit idly. We don't work like a one-man gang, one-man team. And this PLC usually comprised of people. It's even good you work with people you don't even know, so that you learn something from them. Because if you hang around with just people you are used to every day, you might not be challenged to say the hard truth, to say difficult things to the face of that person because of shame or so on and so forth. So I think we should look into PLC. We should uh, look into it and see if we can form such. So if you form this kind of communities, you can come online and say, okay, I learned this, I learned this, I learned this. I had this challenge and we tackled it like this, and you end up seeing changes because if you work collectively as a team, you see students will end up respecting you. Well, sometimes you work individually, they will just be like, "Yeah, we're afraid of just this one person. The rest, you're our friends." No, no, no. Operate collectively so that the students will end up respecting you and so on. That way, you learn more experiences, and when you're sharing knowledge, or when you move to another school, you can see what works here and what did not work here. So next slide. Okay, this is still on building relationships. Yeah, when you build relationship, you are putting yourself in the midst of other professionals. When you attend conferences in the university, you meet professors, you meet lecturers, and they can draw you into their own net. Whenever there are opportunities, they call you in. They say, I have this coming, I have this book out there, they coming, and stuff like that. You never know what a good relationship will be able to lead you to. And it will increase your visibility in the sense that people will start getting to know you in the educational community. Next page. Next slide, please. All right, this is still talking about the same thing. We want to just keep ourselves informed and engaged and collaborate with our networks, with projects, with challenges, and so on. Next slide, please. Like I said, I want to be very, very brief. Yeah, these are just key terms when we are building relationship. We discuss in PLCs, we discuss similar things. How you have to handle assessment, disciplinary issues, challenges, lesson planning, and so on. So you need to have this niche of specialists in which you go to ask for help and direction. And this helps you when you scale up like this, you never know who recommend you for something good and something better. Next slide, please. Okay, we need to look into mentorship and inspiration for others. While you're doing this and showcasing your work, your challenges, your success stories, and so on, you end up getting followers, you end up getting people who admire you, who you inspire, and they want to be like you, they want to walk in your shoe, they want you to show them the way. So offer is always nice to offer guidance and support to pre-service teachers, like all these TP students, to NYC corpus who come to your school. I know sometimes a lot come with the mindset that I'll leave. It's your job. You can take it up yourself to just guide them. You never know that, okay, you might end up be the one that will talk about when they have share their post, and you are out, you'll be out there in his own state, in his own network, saying that, okay, this person did this for me, and I was really, really inspired, and so on and so forth. So the teaching might not be what might make you a millionaire or a billionaire, but it can touch lives, and that is what more than money itself, I think. Although, yeah, I think people say, someone will say, things are really hot now. Yes, but the value you offer is much, much more worthy than. All right, so we offer guidance and support to teachers, even our colleagues who seek to want to learn professional development. So you become a coach, you become a mentor. So you establish yourself in knowledge and you be respected. In such a case that you offer direction, advice, motivation, coaching, training, support. I will talk about your success stories, about you and that person. So this is still part of networking because whatever you do inspires people who will want to follow you, who will want to be like you, and so on. Okay, well, teachers, we are daily, we are coaches and we are mentors. Even if you know that you don't, you are one. Yeah. So next slide, please. Okay, this was supposed to be like an interlude. When Carl Lockwood said it's better to put yourself out there and to get hurt than never to take a chance at all. Like I was talking about earlier, being in the box, you need to break free out of that box. You need to sell yourself, sell your services, advocate for what you do. That way, more and more people will get to want to know your brand, what you're offering, and the skill sets that you have. So that's why we don't stay stagnant in one place. We keep on upskilling. We want to learn, we want to learn, we want to grow. Next slide, please. Volunteer. Well, I specifically spoke about this because um, when you find yourself outside your community, outside the country, and when you want to apply for awards, and when they interview you, then they ask you what community service do you do? What do you offer? Well, how do you give back to the community? Well, I know a lot of times people participate in community services and activities. When you hear your transformer has blown, when you hear something has been stolen from your transformer, when you hear this and that in the community, there's crisis, we need to do night watch and stuff. That is when you start seeing some people in your neighborhood, in your environment that you've never seen before. And it is really, really bad. Like you heard from my profile, I volunteer in one or two initiatives. So why are we supposed to engage in this community service? It helps us enhance empathy, understanding, we develop skills, it broadens our knowledge, like crucial skills. We get a wider perspective, we become model of positive behaviors for students. It enriches your teaching practice because you have a broader wide view on items and allows you to be more of a compassionate educator. Basically, it gives you experience and it shows that you're not someone who just doesn't give back to the community. Volunteerism in this sense, some places they will pay you, some places they will not pay you, you just offer service. Like I was in this orphanage recently, and I was asking them how many teachers they have, if they have shortage, so that I can come and volunteer and teach when I'm free. So you see, these are the kind of things you do. And if, for example, you come and post stuff like this and you write a little story about that, people might be inspired to follow in your footsteps. And this is volunteerism. You get to meet more people. You get a broadened knowledge and opportunities, and keep coming in left, right, center. Because of the workshop, you meet people from different states. Like the one I volunteered, the base is in Lagos, and the other volunteers are from different parts of the state. So we meet, engage with each other to solve key problems related to our team or related to our goal. So it's just a way of giving back to the community. And believe me, when you key into this, you get high visibility and high significance within your community, within your teaching circle, within your people. So you don't become just one trick pony. You are somebody with a lot of skill sets. You can communicate, you can do this, you can do that. So the volunteer, next slide, please. So is it that you volunteer in whatever cause you want? It could be in your field, it could be in human rights, it could be gender justice, girl child, it could be boy education, it could be environmental issues or so on, it is your choice to volunteer somewhere. But it shouldn't be something that will take much of your time. All right, next slide, please. We should also seek out, another point is to seek out leadership opportunities. I will not dwell here because I think I heard the previous presenter speak about leadership. And why it's here is just because, like I said, I'm just touching bits and pieces of some aspects so that we can just help to see the importance of certain things in helping us have a better, bigger visibility. In terms of leadership skills, if you stand up and lead, stand up and take responsibility for things because you want to learn, you want to get more experience. Definitely, there are people who are watching. Whether you do it because you want to please somebody, whether you take responsibility because you want more pay, whatever cause it is, there are people watching you and you don't know when or where somebody will recommend you for something. Like most times, you get calls here and there. I don't know where the recommendations come from, but they'll be like, we heard you do this, you do this, you do this. So it's also good to just put yourself out there. Show if you're a leader, teacher leader. Like for this program, this Fulbright Teaching Excellence Achievement Program that is done every year in the US. They look for people who have potentials.
No, I like with international teacher.
So we take up on leadership roles and responsibility in your school community or whatever it is you feel you can stand up, turn up, and deliver. Next slide, please. Because it shows that you can collaborate, you are purposeful, you are learnable, and you are value driven. That is some qualities of a leader. Also, as a leader, or somebody who aspires to be a leader, or you need to definitely, you want to follow somebody, you want to mimic somebody, because most of us don't have mentors. So we learn by ourselves, just put ourselves out there and we just learn from experience. But most times, again, we have mentors or have people that we want to walk their path, right? So either you want to shadow such people, and when you want to shadow such people, you have to discern and evaluate if that person is worth following, if that person is worth your followership. Because some people will lead you astray, of course. While some will lead you to, to where you need to be, show you the right path to follow, the right path to follow, decisions to follow, which you guys. So being a leader is just that you are putting yourself out there online itself and doing posts that guide and motivate and inspire others. You are there to empower others. Yes. And being a leader, it doesn't mean micromanaging people or controlling people. We are talking about providing guidance, celebrating their little achievements rather than complaining and comparing. We're talking about the culture of motivation and appreciation. We need to, the keyword there is empowering, not micromanage or controlling. We don't want to be someone who is controlling or micromanaging. It's really annoying. We're supposed to be there to empower, to encourage people to come into the teaching line. Because you have a child now, you want to be a teacher, like no. But if you're that person that inspires someone to want to become a teacher, great. Next slide, please. We're almost there. Next slide, please. It's still on leadership. So in terms of leadership integrity, because whatever it is you're putting out there, it has to have integrity, showing that you have strong moral values and unwavering commitment to do what is right. Because you are becoming a role model, so people will look at you. Whatever you do, whatever you say, however you act, people are looking at you and following you. So you need to have integrity in what you do, what you post. Next is have empathy by showing concerns about others' needs and aspirations, and it's giving people a sense of belonging. Not that we are always there insulting people, insulting you're this, you're that, never be this. No, exchanging word. No, 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 no. We are supposed to show empathy, understand each person from a different perspective. Like I said, you want to be visible, you have to have integrity and empathy. So these things will be there because people will be there to comment and say all sorts of stuff about you. Next slide, please. So I hope I'm not too fast though, because I'm just looking at sometimes I can be really, really, really fast. Okay. I think this should be the last one. Also, we should be willing to learn and grow continuously. It's the process is this cycle. Like I said earlier, we don't want to be stagnant, be at the standstill, because what we know since before is what we still know and what we're still using. We want to be able to adopt change and follow new trends, what is new and evolving constantly. Change the only thing that is constant, change. So education is the field that evolves constantly. There are new things out there, teaching methodologies, teaching edu technology and all that. So we should be willing to learn, we should be willing to stay up to date. Yes, it is stressful sometimes, really, really stressful. But we need to just find time to do that. We want to stay up to date, to be able to offer the best. We need to follow the trend, see what is out there. What are the new teaching strategies? What are the new ways of managing the classroom? What are the new ways of, what are the new laws out there? So by doing this, we have to show, we need to be able to read publications. And also, we can also, you need to have this growth mindset. That's basically the point here. You need to have a growth mindset. Like the previous presenter mentioned, I heard you talking about growth mindset. So we need to be flexible because we need to evolve. We need to have that, that flexible spirit. Attend workshop, read journals, and did I mention this? We need to, when we attend all these professional all these seminars and workshops in universities, we should have that spirit of writing journals, either international, local, or national journals. I think we need to do that. Although it might say it's a bit expensive right now. So what you do is collaborate with others. Sorry, I missed this under collaboration. Collaborate with others. You have a topic, have a team, have a sample you want to collect data on, collect it. You guys work on this, write the paper and publish this thing. It will help you guys grow. Like if you're looking for university lecturers now, when you look at you and say, okay, how many papers do you have? Can you even write a journal? No. You skip to the next person. You want somebody who can present and write, even internationally, right? Opportunities to write international journals. You can collaborate with people and put yourself out there. When we are talking about publication, sometimes some people make reference to their school project, which I think it shouldn't be. That's not the right thing. We're talking of journals, articles, presentations. Where have you sent an article in the newspaper, in a journal? Where is it? Let's see it. It shows that you are upskilling. It shows that you are looking for solutions to educational issues. It shows that you are wanting to become a scholar. So you need to learn and continuously grow in the educational field, or you stay stagnant. That's your choice. Next slide, please. We will soon be done. Okay, like I said, knowledge is not stagnant. We are in a rapidly changing world. So we need to seek new experiences. We need to have an open mind. We need to embrace a growth mindset. Therefore, this will foster an environment of innovation and development. Knowledge is not stagnant, so is development. We need to expand it. I'm not talking about growing fat. I'm talking about we need to grow mentally. We need to grow. Not that it's a crime. You need to grow mentally. You need to grow educationally, and so on. So, I think that is that about this. Okay, and finally, you need to put yourself out there. What do I mean by putting yourself out there? You need to sell yourself. Like I said, you're a brand. How would you sell a brand, right? How do you sell a brand? And if you look at yourself like an office, let's say your head's, let me not go into that. You look at yourself as a brand. How do you sell yourself? Selling yourself, one of the easiest way to sell yourself in Nigeria here is when you apply for competitions. When you apply for competitions. Like currently, the Multinational Teacher of the Year is still on, and the statistics they shared today showed that there has been low, very low submissions. Submissions this year are very, very low. So it means that competition will not be much. So I don't know why teachers are sleeping upon this opportunity. You need to put yourself out there. Try. There's also the Global Teacher Prize Award, where you can apply for. It's annually. We have the His Highness Mohammed Sanusi II SDG Challenge. It's currently the cohort 4. I think it's currently going on now. And there's the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Fellowship Program. This one, when you apply it and get it, you get to go and spend six weeks in the US. They train you, they coach you and stuff. Fulbright T. And you come back, very well rounded, very much more rounded. And there are various awards out there. Next slide, please. So, like this image is saying, this is your comfort zone, and this is where we want to go. We want to move from point A to point B. This next image says a lot. Yeah, you have to go out. You have to show what you have, show what you're made of. You don't have to be shy. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to show that you have an imposter syndrome or you're suffering from fear. No, we need to sell ourselves and not sell ourselves short, because we are teachers. We are supposed to be coaches. We are supposed to be professionals. And oftentimes, again, a lot of teachers give up. You can try something once and give up. It's too stressful. That's why we need to have work as a group, work as a professional in community. You need to have mentors to guide you. You might have so much learning experience than others, but there is something to learn every day out there from people. Nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. We have young teachers every day, so it's our job to keep guiding them. Sometimes you can apply for some of these competitions that I highlighted in the back. You apply once, you don't get it, you give up. Twice, you give up, or 3 times, you give up. Sometimes some apply once and they get it. So you wonder, what are they doing right? What are they not doing right? Stuff like that. So everybody needs guidance. That's why for this Multinational Teacher Award, we're constantly getting people who need guidance and guidance. So we're there to help. So as a teacher that wants to have high visibility, you need to stop procrastinating. You need to stop carrying the mindset that some things are rigged, some things are rigged. For the Multina, I know it's not rigged because there are people out there who are watching what's going on and to make sure that everything goes efficiently and as planned and no favorites. That one I can tell you because I've had experience. Then for the Fulbright seat, to that one too, it's very flexible. It's very genuine. There is no partiality there. If they select you, they select you. They don't select you, you apply next to them. And everything is paid for. From your flight, from your feeding and back, everything is covered. So it's a wonderful experience, and I want more teachers to have the experience. Honestly, it's something you really, really need to key into. Then some have that limiting mindset that okay, they will not win. They don't need to win for things like this. They don't win. Yeah, myself too. I don't think I've ever won any public award like that. So you just have to give yourself, try your best. Just try. A lot of people carry out excuses. I've come to realize that some people only have excuses, and that thing is really irritating. if you are that kind of person, people will run from you. You need to have somebody. You need to be somebody that has growth mindset. You don't fool yourself with too much excuses, and you need to break out of that your box that you are seeing and just sell yourself because we are great individuals. Next slide, please. Okay, this is still talking about those competitions. For those of you who have never tried, please keep these in mind. These are the key ones that I know of right now. I know the Martina started last month, which is June. So if you can try, it's still on stopping 21st of this month. The Global Teacher Award, I think it was 2 months ago. The application is annually, so just be checking it out. The Mohammed Sanusi was last month. Fulbright C, that one is every, I think December and January. Yeah, it's always open. 1 million teachers. I cannot. It's in collaboration with Mohammed Sanusi to SDG Challenge. Next slide. Next slide. So, in conclusion, if you want to position yourself for high visibility, we need to be dedicated, we need to put in effort, and we need to just, yes, teaching is stressful, brain drain, teach, plan, manage students in and outside of classrooms and so on. Well, I hope this few tips can help you become a more impactful teacher. Next slide, please. Because like I said, I don't want to take too much time on this. Okay. Okay, great. Emerald said they are partners 1 million. That is wonderful. So that's why we are here as a community to learn to grow, you know. So this is just the same thing. We need to display resilience, bouncing back from adversity. When we fail here, we need to come back and try again. Dust off the drawing board and check, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong last year, so that we can try again. So next slide, please. Growth takes a little bit of time. So I want to appreciate everybody for taking their time to listen, to stay tuned, and listen to me yammering about stuff. So I am hoping that we picked up something today. I'm hoping that we learned something today. I really appreciate the time and effort put together by Emerald Education. I am very grateful to be here, and I'm honored to have all of you here. So if you have any questions, next slide, please. If you have any questions, please let us fire on. Thank you so much. So let me close with these few points of mine. I hope you are convinced that you need to sell yourself. Any questions?
Well, thank you so much, sir, for this presentation. I don't know if you have questions, we can put on the chat box while some can also come up to me. We're just taking 2 questions from us. While we are waiting for questions, I want us to give a rounding applause to our facilitator who has taken us for the past an hour now, who has been taking us on what we need as a teacher, what we need to put ourselves out there. Social media is very, very important. Thank you so much for that information you have given us today. So that we will not be taking this for granted. Thank you so much. Do we have any question?
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir. I don't know if you have question. While we are waiting for question, once again, thank you so much, our facilitator, Mr. Alaku. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We do not take this for granted. Thank you so much. Yes, we have some information. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We have some information and we have some goodies for all our participants, and I can't wait to share that with you. Thank you so much for still joining this session. Some are still joining, some have left. Those are on board. Thank you so much for staying up to this moment. I'm sure that you have learned something today. And also information we have for us, we have some mouth-watering opportunities for every one of us joining this session this night. First of all, one of the good news is that we have a professional development lab for teachers, which is coming in August. That is on August 3rd. So Lagos, are you ready? Those in Lagos, you can register for that session, for that program, for that workshop. It's going to be very, very engaging, and it's power-packed. You can register for that. We also have a professional development lab also, which will be taking place in Abuja. So while we are taking for Lagos, we also have for Abuja as well. And then that will be coming up in September 7. And then also our Ekiti event, we also have for Ekiti. So all our teachers get set, get ready for our programs that we'll be having. So this information we'll be sending general group. I want everybody to engage, and then also try as much as possible to register. Know someone, send to somebody that who is actually interested in some of these things. And then also August 1st to August 31st, we'll be having our holiday professional development challenge for teachers, as well as our digital lab is coming up July 7th to July 25th. That is a week to come. Also, our school training program continues. We invite everybody to also participate in our school training program, where if you invite us to your school, we'll definitely come, and then we'll come and train your teachers and the staff. And then our social media platforms, try as much as possible to join us on our Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, we're on WhatsApp, and also we are on all our social media. You can join us. And then we also have our digital products, which every one of us can actually get. It's very, very important. As a teacher, we get our course, which is 2,000 hours per course. We have our classroom leadership. We have a classroom culture. We also have how to increase our market value. We have classroom goals. All these goes for 2,000 each. But if you want all the courses, it can go for 5,000. For anyone who is joining this session, we'll give you all our products, all our digital products for 5,000. But if we want to go for one, we can go for just 2,000. And guess what? We're launching our magazine, our Nation Builder magazine, the couple of months to come, and it's going to be free for all our participants. Are we excited?
Amazing.
This is going to be free for all. So I want everybody to share with other teachers, share as much as those who put their names on the attendance list. Let us do that as soon as possible, and don't forget to join us on all our social media. And just once again, thank you so much. We sincerely appreciate your time with us, and I know that you have learned one or two things. On this note, I'll be handing over to our director for his closing remark. They will take everyone.
Okay.
Mr. Oladekun.
Okay, thank
Hello?
you.
Mr.
Yes,
can you hear, sir?
I can hear. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Guess,
I am there. Don't worry, I'm there. Okay, good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay.
Evening.
Okay. As we close for Today, I know today has been a busy day in terms of learning. And I believe that the 4 sessions we have had has really helped you and has impacted you greatly. Let me encourage that everything that you have learned is it won't be good that you have attended sessions like this from morning sessions, the first session, the second, the third, the fourth, and then you are not going to put them into practice. The essence of having professional development programs like this is to empower you, equip you, and make you a better person. One of the things I usually do when I attend programs like this is, for each of the sessions that I attend, I will write 1 or 2 things as my take home and action point. I don't just learn, I write action points. So, and that's one of the things I want you to do. From the first session, what are the 2 or 3 action points that you want to take immediately and you start working on? From the second session, what are the 2 or 3 action points that you want to take and want to start working on immediately? The third and the fourth, like that. So by the time you have 2 each, that's 8, or 3, that's 12 action points. And you break them to, okay, in this month, this is what I'll be doing. In that month, it is important that you set up action points that you are going to be taking. It will really, really help you. So on behalf of the team, the facilitators and everyone, I know I myself have learned personally. I've learned from other speakers that have spoken, and I hope you have done that too. And of course, we have more for us. We have more for us. Make sure that you stay on the group. For those that are filling the attendance sheet, please, attendance sheet should not be sent to the WhatsApp platform. We have over 300 people that registered. Okay, we have some of us that took time to attend the program. Be 60, 80, or 100 of us that attended the program. So it will not be good that people that did not attend are getting certificates. So please, let's be polite. Make sure that you register, and then of course by tomorrow evening or Monday, we'll get the certificate. So make sure that you stay put on the platform. Even after you collected the certificate, still stay put. Although we are going to redirect you to our general platform, which is we call it our community, teachers community, where we can interact and have opportunity to discuss. And like Mr. Alako have said, we have a teacher community that encourages that. So we'll link you. We have about over 500 teachers there. So we are still trying to grow it so that we can be more than 2,000 in that community. That will continue. There are opportunities that we share, and of course, some of the information that has been given, we'll be sharing them on WhatsApp platform. The ones that applies to you, make sure you do. Some of these programs are meant to make us become better. We become better persons. And of course, like I usually tell some of my executives and people that attend some of my sessions and programs, even they invite me for outside, I tell them this: there is no amount that is too much to invest in yourself. The greatest investment you can have is the investment in yourself. I have paid hundreds of dollars for investing in myself. I got thousands of dollars to invest in myself because I believe that investing in myself will yield dividends both now and in the future. So I want to encourage you, continue to grow yourself. Thank you once again for everyone that has joined. God bless you. And we leave you with this opportunity that you have learned. Make sure you are changing the world. Thank you and God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I believe everybody actually had time. So please, before we go, for those that are complaining about the attendance form Please, like I
Please,
said
I have a
earlier,
question. I have a question
picture,
before we go, please. I have a question. I've been
please,
asking.
no problem. When I'm done, you can ask your question, please. So for those people that are having issues with picture, kindly use picture that is less than 5 MB. Use picture that is less than 5 MB, please. Once you use the picture that is less than 5 MB, you won't have any problem. It is clearly stated in the form, picture less than 5 MB, and ensure you use a very clear one. That's why we solicit for headshots, the corporate one. Thank you. So please can we
Okay, good evening, everyone. I don't know if you
have
can.
your question before we call it a day tonight, ma'am?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Now, I have two questions to the last speaker. One of them is the most of those competitions he talked about, like I think the Montina, I think most of them are for public school teachers. I hardly see one that is meant for private school teachers, but I know like the global teacher, that one should be for the private school teacher. So apart from the Montina, is there any other one apart from this ones he mentioned? That's one. And then he talked about the Fulbright T. Now, Fulbright T, I don't know if one has to have a passport, international passport, for you to be qualified for the Fulbright T, because I don't know, I had applied for it once, filled everything. I don't know why I wasn't picked. I don't know if because I did not have the passport. So I want to know, I want him to clarify if I need the international passport. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your question. Mr. Alaku, please, can you help us respond to that? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I think I responded to her